With that being said, it's time to talk during the movie. Alright, theories. Got any theories?
I surely do. Oh, sorry, I'm flexing over here. I surely do, brother. I surely do.
Oh, before you get into your theories, I'll share what you pointed out when we were watching it this afternoon. The fact this is audience participation. Mark has a dartboard on his wall in his apartment, and then there's a photo of a very similar looking dartboard in a frame right next to it. We don't have a theory about this. We're just wondering if anybody out there knows why.
Man, is it a Britain thing, or is it a maybe over there it's normal? I don't know. It's very
I can't even begin to wonder.
And I wonder. So go ahead.
Well, my theory really isn't a theory as much as it is just a translation of what appeals to me about the premise of the movie and what the movie is saying within the premise of it. I like the fact that religion didn't exist before lying was invented. That's like the things that this movie suggests. It's essentially a comical take on one possible hypothetical for how religion could have been invented or came into existence. What I did like about the movie is that it goes about this, like, if you watch Ricky Gervais stand up or him talk on interviews or podcasts, he is like, he's brutal when it comes to religion. Like, he's right up there with, like, he's got the claws out when he does not hold back. But this movie, what I like about it is that it goes about this conversation pretty politely as far as Ricky Gervais content goes, and as far as, like, saying, you know, having like an atheistic point of view, because the way what they're conveying essentially is that, like, why does he say that there's a heaven? He eventually has to say there's a man in the sky because he says there's a heaven. So one kind of followed the other, but it started with heaven, and that came from him wanting to console his mom. So it's like, yeah, he's saying religion may have been made up. The point of the movie is that, you know, religion stems from a lie, but it's a lie that's said in...
Jennifer Garner said it, but didn't it make her feel good? Don't you want to make all those people out there feel good?
It's not coming from, like, a place of, like, trying to get over on somebody or anything like that. It's coming from a very sincere place, wanting to console hurting people with some kind of sense of hope. And it's also his own desperation to feel better and to have something to be to console his mom with. And it's also Jonah Hill, his character. You know, it's interesting that in the reality we live in, like, it proves that sometimes lying is necessary, because he said, what does he say to console Jonah Hill? He's like, it'll get better. And you couldn't say that in a world where you were incapable of lying, because that's something that you couldn't know for sure. So you couldn't say without being dishonest. So, like, when it comes to consolation, lying is necessary, and religion is like the ultimate consolation for humanity. I like the fact that eventually that the religion backfires in a way that we see happening in reality, where people, not all people that subscribe to a religion, but a lot of people, I mean, it just goes without saying, if you have this ultimate reward that's beyond this life, then what value can you truly put on this life if everything better is promised once this is over?
I was thinking that if I get eternal happiness when I die, that'll be really great, because it's eternal, you know, so you can't really beat that.
And you see that kind of played out in different funny ways in the Invention of Lying. And then the icing on top of the cake, as far as the whole religious metaphor goes, is at the wedding ceremony at the end, which is interesting, because in the Bible it often refers to, like, the people as the bride and God as the groom, like we are his bride. And so it was interesting that this like main key about religion took place at the wedding ceremony. So Ricky Gervais has the power to pretty much control what people think and what people's actions are going to be, because they believe he is a direct tap to the man in the sky, much like Jesus. He actually grows his hair out and looks like Jesus at one point. But the kicker is that when he's got Jennifer Garner's been established as the girl of his dreams, and he's standing there on her wedding day. She's about to get married to Rob Lowe, and he has all the power right there to stop her. She gives him the opportunity to stop her. What does the man in the sky want me to do? And he could have easily said, he wants you to walk off that altar and come be with me and be happy for the rest of our lives. He didn't do that. And it goes back to what the story of God is like. Why do we have free will? If he wants people to follow him, why not just create people to follow him? Because the relationship means nothing if it's not chosen by the other party, if it's not consensual. And that was the perfect representation of that. He walked away. He was willing to let her. Rob Lowe is like hell. He's admitted he doesn't even really want to be with her. He's only with her out of spite. So, like, for her to choose Rob Lowe would be to choose hell and deny Ricky Gervais, who has given her the choice when he doesn't have to, because he wants one thing to mean something, that relationship. So I thought it was an awesome metaphor for that, like, very dancing around subtly the idea that religion is a lie, but at the same time doing it just so effectively and really hitting like the key emotional points where it's not dogging religion. It's saying, you know, these are the justified reasons why people kind of cling to it. Yeah. Thought it was done well.
Okay. Well, my hear me out theory would be this. I have two, and one's really quick and one's just a little bit more elaborated on. The first one was more sort of a fun fantasy theory, was that the Invention of Lying is what set off the events of the 10. Like everything that happened in the movie with Ricky Gervais, that's what spawned the thing. Cause like there's like these things they had to explain these things now, and so to me, and then when I saw him dressed like that Jesus Day, I was like, wait a minute, that really made me feel that way. So in my crazy far out theory, because of Ricky Gervais one day being able to lie, now all the rules had to be written, and and these things started happening.
It does seem like it would take place in the same universe too. Yeah.
So
that's crazy if those tablets would have been big pizza boxes.
My other one is that from the outside the spectrum of the film, is that I feel that he sought out to make people look at themselves and really to have those conversations that they should be having. Now, what I really think he brilliantly showed was that a lot of people are mean as fuck and they're evil, because he could have easily showed people who were telling the truth that were doing nice things for everybody and be like, man, I really should try to help that guy. And I know he's showing you that a lot of these people, nobody really gives a fuck mostly when they say, hey, how you doing? They're not even waiting for the fucking response. You know what I'm saying? And to me, like, he took that chance with showing that, and it was just like, see, he was basically saying, hey, you don't actually need religion to actually get along, you know what I'm saying? Because there was no need for it when everybody was just being honest as shit. Even if they were being brutally honest, it was honest. So I think he was very courageous in telling that story and making us look at ourselves. And really, it almost goes back to, with great power comes great responsibility. Like you said, he could have lied to her in that church. He could have said anything. He could have had sex with that girl earlier. The morality came into clause. He was like, you got to have sex with me or the world's going to end. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, can I get you? Jesus Christ, that beer's $10. But yeah, man, to me, like I said, he took a very, so I like that. He really, without shitting on the Bible or something like that, he really made people question themselves and think about these things, because the moment he just told you that something could be good, it showed you in that one park scene, like all these different human beings out there heard one message, but they all disseminated it differently. They all thought about it differently. Like, well, what does this happen? What does this happen? That's society in itself right there. Don't overthink this shit. Yeah. He was just like, just do good. Wait a minute, is wearing pants bad? Man, you know what the fuck? Come on, man. Like, so yeah, that's really those are my two theories on that. Hear me out.
I like it. We were pretty much on the same page with that theory.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we get into casting call, just open discussion. Any other notes that we had about the movie?
Oh shit, yeah, fuck yeah, man. Yeah. Now, some other interesting points that I want to bring out. We talked about Matthew Robinson earlier, and so what really made me think about this was it now made me think about all those Golden Globes he's done, and know that him and Matt probably sat down and pinned some things together, because he is relentless. If you've never seen Ricky G at the Golden, it's not the Golden Globes, it's Ricky's Globes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you make Tom Hanks cringe in the audience full of all these people, like what nothing can make Tom nervous. Tom was like the face was just priceless. So yeah, that was
because I don't think he has to live with any of these people. I think he goes back over the seas and
Right.
you don't have to run into them at the Whole Foods.
You mean to tell me you get your shit wiped for you and you can't take mine? Yeah, some shit.
I like the movie is so brilliant from the beginning, setting up this world of people not being able to lie. I mean, every single scenario is so not only interesting to watch just because it's like a hypothetical that's fun to wonder about, but every scenario is hilarious. Like there are like a bunch of little mini skits in the first 20 minutes of the movie of and setting up this world where people can't lie. But one of the funniest parts to me were just the Coke commercial, which starred Westworld's Jimmy Simpson. Always Sunny fans know him as Liam McBoyle. You will call her! He is fantastic. But that Coke commercial is so fucking funny because it's like, it's just one of those things, it's this quick moment, but it sets up this, like, it sets your imagination to wondering, like, yeah, how would commercials work in a world where you have to tell the truth? Like commercials advertising relies on lying.
Did you see when he said he said it has so many grams of sugar that, and he takes it, he's like, so sweet.
Yeah. It was so dry, so good though.
And even his soup, like, was just like
it's like they're like, we can't do any flair because that would be lying to you. It's the product. It's this gold dude telling you what the product is.
If you notice, we've changed the little
like
things on
hype
here.
is a lie.
Yeah.
You can't even hype something up.
That's crazy.
And then the next day, the bus, it's so true. The bus passes with the sign on it. It says Pepsi when they don't have Coke. And that's accurate.
There we go, brother. All right.
I'm gonna forget his name again. What the hell is his name? Mark.
Matthew Robinson.
Mark Bellison, where Ricky Gervais' character works. He works for a film production company, but that's another thing that's fun to consider in a world where people can't lie. You can't even lie for the sake of... I feel like that should be a gray area with the invention of lying. Like, if you lived in that universe, if you are creating something that is, like, it's stated, this is fiction, then is that really lying?
No, but that's what made it brilliant, that they had to write it. That's why he didn't vote in the 1300s. He had to write what happened. Everyone wrote what happened.
But they're like tying creativity and imagination to lying. Like, if you have an imagination, that is your brain lying to yourself. So, and you have to have an imagination to write a fiction because you're pulling something out of nothing for a fiction to take place. It's just the universe that they create is so funny. Like, what movies would be like, what advertising would look like, what general social interactions play out.
But that's what you have there. Movies are just written accounts of history.
Yeah, like that's what you end up with. Is just somebody, or like
that's why he didn't want the 1300s. He kept telling, like, why'd you take the 1300s? And speaking of that, did you notice the play they did on that? What Ricky did? 20th Century Fox. That's why he had 14th centuries, 15th century, 17th century. He was making a play on them. That's what that was. Hey, those are talking points, kids.